here's Brody Brazil.
If I'm being totally honest, I thought a lot about making this video. And then I thought for a while about not making this video. But the reason I ultimately decided to go ahead and greenlight this is because here we are on the final day of July. I think some of the dust surrounding the Oakland Ballers has settled for now. I know the conversation is not complete. I don't know if all the resolutions have happened, but at least it feels like we might be moving in that direction from about a week ago when Susan Slusser put this in the San Francisco Chronicle. There was some build up to this article, and there's all the details in this article. By the way, things I'll be talking about here in this video are not going into any great detail. I'll explain that in just a second. My purpose and my point here is to kind of see this from 30,000 feet and literally 30 miles away. But this called everybody's attention. The agent Lonnie Murray accusing the Ballers of unsafe conditions, pulled some players off the team. I'm friendly with everybody here. Lonnie, the Ballers, a lot of Ballers fans, friends and family, all that stuff. So I'm going to see this from the bigger picture perspective, but obviously this kind of went very public when it came out in the San Francisco Chronicle. And to be clear here, everything I'm about to say is perspective from a distance, because I haven't even been out to Raimondi yet this season. They've only been playing games for about 2 months. I'm in the middle of my own work schedule, a vacation, a lot of busyness, things going on. It's not been intentional, but I know the people of the Ballers. I know the situation surrounding the Ballers, but certainly not every last detail. So I don't want to pretend to you that I'm the insider here and I know everything. Of course, I get bits and pieces here and there, and I don't talk publicly a lot about it, but here we are to discuss the bigger picture situation of what's been happening, maybe the learning lessons that are happening right now, and where things go moving forward. But I also think it's fair to say, as I make this video, and I know people from the Ballers will watch this, people from the players' side, the agents' side, they will watch this video. I want literally the best for everyone. I wish there was no tension and drama and back and forth. I wish there were none of that, but things happen. This is real life, and here we are. It's possible for me to come on here and say, I want the best for the fans and the team and the players and the representatives, literally everybody involved. I want the best for. I'm rooting for everybody in this situation, but I understand that some of the different parties have had back and forths and disagreements and maybe promises made but not kept, but then resolutions to try and reach. So we'll get into all that here in just a second. As for the Ballers, considering the task that they had going into this year and their timeline of how quick it was, and I don't want to say rushed, but I think they would probably tell you they were under the clock for a lot of different things to get their two teams, the YOLO team and the Oakland team, ready to go in the Pioneer League, to pivot from Laney College to Raimondi Park as a baseball stadium. Some turbulence was to be expected here because there's a lot. And they're brand new at this. If this was 5 years in and the Ballers had all these struggles, I would wonder about, I wonder who's running this, what they were thinking. This is not their first lap around the block, but for the Ballers, it literally is their first go-round, and they did not have a tremendous head start. In fact, the first time I'd even ever heard of the Ballers with some advance notice, it was November of last year. So not even mid-last baseball season, not even late last baseball season. This truly happened in the middle of the winter. And so my point is, it's not to let the Ballers entirely off the hook for everything here, but let's be honest about it. What they were up against in pulling off a season was pretty incredible to begin with. So to say that there are some bumps in the road, I think that's very understandable. I also want to say that taking on the challenge as they did of starting the season, getting the ballpark ready, and jerseys and sponsors and a broadcast partner, all that stuff, at some point, and we may be witnessing that point a couple months into the season, those challenges, that constant bandwidth that's being used mentally and physically and emotionally and monetarily, all that stuff might be catching up after months of grinding. And so, again, I understand the criticisms of the Ballers, and again, we're not even here to get into every last specific. My purpose and point of doing this video is to try and help everybody see the big picture and to try and see the bigger picture goal of the Ballers and to understand the criticisms of what's been going on, but hopefully that they persist and still exist 5, 10 years down the road. All of this can be a learning lesson. But I think the point is to understand that some of this may be a product of just how hard they had to work to get their business and their operation up to speed. And look, you've seen a lot of happy fans. You've seen a lot of satisfied customers. They're glad the Ballers exist, how they do, where they do, because they do. But it hasn't been easy. I feel like looking at somebody running a marathon and it's mile 17. They look a little bit different than they did in miles 1 and 2, but that's okay. They're here to finish the marathon, and that's what I hope for the Ballers. Things in reverse, right? I think they would have been easier had the Ballers not tried to build their own stadium last minute, move into it. They put a ton of money into the neighborhood and the ballpark. Like, things are better because they did that. I want to make that very clear. I'm not here to second guess that late pivot, that maneuver, that decision, but they also had a college baseball park and stadium and facilities over at Laney College that they were ready to go play in. That was supposed to be year one. And people liked that. And then they thought, well, eventually when you have time and when you have the right resources and, like I said, bandwidth, you'll eventually move into your own stadium. The Ballers went all in literally right from the start. And again, give them credit for their ambition and their willingness to get it done. Like, they checked a lot of the boxes, pretty much all of them, to actually make this happen. But I think it would have been easier, and they would probably tell you this too, had they gone the easy route. But I don't know that the easy thing and the best thing are always the same thing. They went the hard way. They're trying to set up shop at Raimondi, try and make this their long-term home. They're making this a thing. They've already put in that investment. So we're not here to second guess it. I'm here to say that even when there was an easy fork in the road, they still took the hard one. And that just kind of goes to paint the bigger picture of what they've been up against this entire time and figuring out all aspects of players and living situation and trainers and doctors and healthcare situations. Like, there's just a lot on the table. I'm not letting them off the hook entirely for all of this. This is what they got into. But this is also not easy one bit. So the drama that's been surrounding the team and then fans jump in, like, none of it has been necessarily flattering, right? And nobody wants that kind of back and forth, and a lot of it on social media. Nobody really wants that. And I don't think even the criticisms of the team, I think they had to get addressed. To a certain degree, they did go public on social media and in large-scale media outlets like the San Francisco Chronicle. Again, none of it's flattering, none of it's a good image or a good takeaway, but some of these things maybe were not getting addressed, but now they are getting addressed, or they were in the process of getting addressed. Again, I'm not here to tell you that I'm in the middle, in the mix of all that stuff. I'm looking at this from afar, but it seems like the wheels are in motion to make things right. And there's been nothing but admission and correction from the Ballers about what they're about to do and how they're trying to rectify these situations. So again, like, there are some life situations that you wish did not happen and you wish didn't have to go that way, but they did. And now they're getting worked on. Now they're getting addressed. And all of this can be the lesson. And I don't mean the lesson as in somebody intentionally was doing something wrong or somebody was trying to sabotage the situation. It's not that. It's just that, okay, we were a little off course here and there. And I don't know what was being worked on as fast as it should have been or not, or what all the priorities were. Sometimes you don't know somebody else's bigger picture until you step in their shoes. But the point is, these things had to be addressed. It feels like now they are. And so this can be a lesson to the Ballers, and it's not the fatal blow to their franchise, so they get to still exist and they get to correct course and they get to hopefully persist. Because it all comes down to this for me. If we're talking about the Ballers, I realize their entry into East Bay sports and Oakland sports comes at a very difficult and interesting time, all things considered. There's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of tension among the fans that come to games. They've come from a different place. But the true test of the Ballers is not the fact that they exist here in 2024. It's not the fact that they've gone through a little bit of turbulence here in 2024 or 25 or 26 or 27. Longevity is the true test and aim and goal of the Oakland Ballers. if you really want to judge, well, did they do a good job? I think the answer to that is, will they exist? How will they exist in 2032? Give them 6-8 years, see how this goes, hope that financially things work out, they get the support. I realize a lot of people want to support this, they feel good about it, but will they actually go out with their money and tickets and merchandise? Will they support the Ballers? Will the Ballers have longevity at Raimondi in Oakland? I think that is the question here. And so long as you're moving through some of these difficulties, you're getting one step closer to that. So again, I did not want to make this video to escalate the temperature. I'm not here to make this any bigger than it's already been. It's been out there. The conversation has been had. I don't mean to minimize it either. Some things were going on that needed to be addressed. This conversation, it needed to happen. It went public. Sometimes that's just how things go, but sometimes that's how things get resolved. And if you don't hear any more peeps from the Ballers or criticism or anything else, and the rest of this year plays out, then they've had a successful first season from my understanding. And like I said, the true test for them is longevity. You made it here to the end of this video. You know I really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That'll help me, this video, and this channel. I would like that, but I would also love it if you go down there right now and make sure that you subscribe to this channel so I can definitely get to see you back here next time.